The meeting is live streamed.
So, very warm welcome.
Good evening, everyone. I am Manisha Hinduja, the Secretary of the Society of Cardiovascular and Respiratory Rehabilitation. And I would like to welcome all of you all to this meet. This meet is a very special meet, a collaboration between the Society of Cardiovascular and Pulmonary Rehabilitation and the Heartfulness Wellness Program. This is a very special day for this program. That's Valentine's Day. We couldn't find a better day to conduct this. And I would request our president, Dr. Maria Giandani, to please say a few words about this collaboration and the society. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Manisha. And I extend a very warm welcome to all of you. And especially, I am obliged and grateful to Heartfulness, Dr. Haresh Mehta. Dr. Rahul would be speaking later. And we have Dr. Snehal and Dr. Sarojini with us. From the society, we thought that we are a group of physiotherapists specialized in cardiovascular and pulmonary rehabilitation. And the society is open to all as other health professionals. That includes doctors, nurses, students, because we believe in teamwork. And looking at teamwork, mental health is one of the most important things and issues to be addressed, not only for healthcare professionals, but the patients and the caregivers alike in any rehabilitation, being it a chronic, long-standing condition. So our whole mission and goal was to collaborate and get all people into one platform so that we could offer holistic care, not forgetting ourselves. We had a good heart-to-heart talk, Snehal and myself, and with her team and the Heartfulness, we thought nothing better than today to launch Spandan. Let the heart beat. This term is also specially coined for this particular project itself. And we look forward to interactive sessions, getting everyone involved so that we could at least take care of some part of ourselves. We have the heart connected to the mind, and that connects to the action. Many times we do experience burnout. We may not voice it, but it is obvious and we do feel. And before we go into that stage, let us take care of ourselves. There are different methods, there are different modes. What suits one depends on what one takes. So with just this brief introduction, I request Dr. Snehal to take over from here and introduce Dr. Haresh further. Over to you, Snehal. Just to introduce Snehal Deshpande, madam. She is a pediatric physiotherapist, specialized with PhD and she's got her own setup and a chain of centers and caters to the little babies from born till they are able to take care of themselves. And heartfulness is very close to our heart. So over to you, Sunil.
So, yes, thank you, Dr. Maria. This seems like a dream come true for me because what came my way and what I've experienced, and I'm sure what Dr. Harish will be also sharing, what we have experienced by giving ourselves little moments of calm have created great shifts in our lives. So, Spandan, my dear friends, is Let the Heart Beat. It is an experiential program specially designed for healthcare professionals and caregivers, and we are focusing primarily to create well-being in each individual's life and foster the positivity. So in short, we are planning to increase the uh, professional sort of well-being at the workplace. So people are worried, if I spend time in this, what will happen? But believe me, these little moments what you spend for yourself will show you a big shift in your life. It objectively aims at improving your output, increasing resilience, reducing stress and burnout. So, heartfulness techniques are research based, they are experiential, they are individually customized, and we have three main practices which Dr. Haresh will be speaking of today. So, this program is kickstarting today, but yes, we are looking at a long journey. We're looking at walking through a long journey with topics of relevant interest like maybe communication, time management, stress management, self-care, etc. So the American Health Association has stressed on the positive effects of meditation, and it is medication and meditation. So the meditation should be the prima facie mover in our life. So having said this, I move forward to now introducing today's speaker is Dr. Haresh Mehta. Most of you all know him. He's an interventional cardiologist associated with Lilavati Hospital and Research Center, Hinduja Healthcare Surgicals, SL Raheja Hospitals. He has a fellowship from the University Hospital Bern, Switzerland. He's a visiting faculty in the Department of Cardiology, University Hospital Bern, Switzerland, and he's a heartfulness practitioner and trainer and founder of Healing Hearts. So thank you, Dr. Haresh Mehta, to have spared time for this program. We look forward to you sharing your journey with heartfulness.
Thank you, Snehal. Thank you, Maria and Manisha. Three of them. Okay. So I'm Haresh, and everybody knows me. That's what she says, but I doubt. Anyway, thanks for the good words. So today we're going to speak of an aspect which is very dear to my heart about heartful living. How can we integrate your heart, as Dr. Maria said, with your brain, or integrate with your entire human being? Why are we talking about this heart all the time? We all know, because I'm a cardiologist, you are cardiopulmonary physiotherapist. We all know heart is an organ which pumps blood and gives blood to the organs of the body. So what's so great about it? Why are we talking about heartful living? I mean, what is so great about heartful living? Everybody has to live with his heart, because if his heart is not there, he wouldn't be alive. So that's how we say cardiac arrest, right? The heart stops and you're gone. What is the difference between heartful living and living with the heart? They're two different things. So heartful living is actually not the same as living with the heart. In the sense, living with the physical heart. What we talk about is the physical heart. What I'm talking about is heart, which is the seat of emotions. And many of us would believe that the emotion also comes from the brain. It's not, the heart has got nothing to do with it. So if you really look into your life and look into situations you have faced in your life, right from the time you're born to probably today, you ever had instances where you had to make a decision one way or the other, and you end up having two paths always, almost always. And why is there two paths if there is one decision maker? If this mind is the one decision maker that we have, then why do we have two paths? Why do we have this option of A or B? It would be so simple, right? Choose A or choose B. So what initially medical science wouldn't believe about, that heart has its own thinking capability. When I mean the heart has its own thinking capability, means that we can listen to our heart and make decisions. And how is that different than listening to your mind? So listening to the heart is generally the first answer you get. You're faced with problem. Let me ask you, if you are faced with a situation on the road where you see a person injured by a car accident, what would you do? If anybody can just voice what would they do? Anybody, I mean, who is on the chat, anywhere, what would you do if you would face such a situation? I'm sure we all see it every day. Would you go and help or would you not help? What would be your first reaction?
Go and see how I can help out.
Yeah.
And do we really do that in real life?
Depending actually what if it's a younger person or a female, I would go and help. But probably if it's a bike accident and a boy, I would be in two minds to go and help. There would be people around. I would expect them to. This is what we do in the real situation.
Exactly. So this is what clearly tells you that the first answer you got is to go and help, right?
Yes.
That was your heart speaking. The moment you decide who I need to help, should I need to help, do I do something about it, or should I leave it alone, is when your mind intervenes and then tells you pros and cons of what you do. If you help, will you be in trouble? Will the police harass me? I'll have to waste 3 hours with this person and go into the hospital. Then police will constantly question me. So that's a clear, simple example of distinction between your heart and your mind. Both answers came. You chose the second answer. Generally, is because you start thinking what is good for you, right? You generally rationalize all your decisions. So the moment you rationalize all your decisions, then it's your mind speaking. And when you listen what your heart says, it's always something that you will want to help. So my way of looking at this is heart is a giving organ. It's a selfless organ. It beats for everyone. It beats in your body for sure, but it beats for everyone. But your mind never thinks for it. It only thinks of its own self. That's the clear distinction that exists between your heart and your mind. Mind generally is selfish, and heart is selfish. It's a very clear distinction, and it's not difficult to distinguish that. Now, the question arises is that should we be living with the heart or should we be living with the mind? The modern world will tell you, don't be silly, don't listen to your heart. People will roll all over you, they will take you for granted, and you will be left feeling bad that why did I help? Am I right? So I agree. Most of us at some stage in life would have thought about this and said, "Ki, why do I need to get there? Because anyways, people don't care what I feel, what I do for them." And we have this constant turmoil in our body, in our health. Ki, why do I care? How does it matter? Because I'm not going to benefit by this. What's the use? So does living with the heart get you into trouble or get you out of trouble? Does it take you up, take you down in your career or in your life? Something that, of course, one has to experience it. And second, it is try it and see whether it makes a difference to your life. As Maria put it and Snehal emphasized on the issues of burnout, I'm sure all of you are aware that we as medical professionals have the largest percentage of burnouts amongst all professions. And we have one of the largest suicide rates amongst all professions. So that clearly tells us that we are mentally extremely taxed and vulnerable to these problems. And we tend to ignore and avoid these problems. We tend to brush it under the carpet till it really bubble breaks. By that time, it may be either too late or it may be reaching a stage where it threatens your own survival. So, suppose you are someone who is mentally stressed and is always in turmoil. What do you all do? How do you take care of that? Anybody can suggest what would you do if you know that you're heading towards burnout and your performance is dipping, your interaction with professionals, your interpersonal relationships, everything is going in the downhill. How do you interact? How do you deal with that? How would you propose to deal with it?
Take a break,
Okay.
sit back,
Okay.
think over, and try and sort out what needs priority, and basically try and just calm down yourself as to
Okay.
next.
Okay. Anybody else? Introspect, reframe the situation. Okay.
Probably just do what I like to do, like getting involved in my favorite activities just to shut down from everything else, like dancing or something.
Perfect. So once you do that, how much time does it succeed?
Just temporary till the time I'm doing the activity.
Absolutely. So exactly. So the question is that you're going to get back into the same burnout situation again.
So there is some answer in the chat box also that
I
we
saw one frame the situation, introspect and calm
prospect.
down. Yep, I saw those. So the question is that we all deal with it in different ways. We take a holiday, we go off and come back rejuvenated, as we call it. And some of us will probably listen to their favorite music or have their favorite hobby. And if you are really into that whole breakdown stage already, then you would probably go and seek help, which is very important. I don't think that we should ever brush that under the carpet. I mean, we should encourage people to seek help sooner than later because we as professionals talk about seeking help, but we don't seek help. We feel that we are invincible and we don't need help to get out of the situation. So, as we all talk about preventive cardiology, preventive pulmonary aspect, I mean, I'm sure you train uh, patients before they get operated, do spirometries, teach them breathing exercises, get their lung capacity up, right? So we all try and talk about preventive measures, but we don't do preventive measures for our own self because we all know that we will be in some stage of our life face burnout, but we are not ready for burnout. We think that burnout happens to the neighbor, it doesn't happen to us. That's an unfortunate truth of all of us. And once burnout sets in, then you're in the mode of correction and treatment, as we call it, which may or may not be successful. And as Manisha described, it's going to be a temporary thing because once you're back into the same situation, because your trigger is your work, you have to decide that are you going to give up the work, are you give up your patients, or we learn to deal with it. So heartfulness or heartful living helps you prevent these triggers, prevent these burnouts. Now the question is that how do we prevent these burnouts by heartfulness? How do we maintain this calm or equipoise we all talk about? We talk about balance, we talk about have a balanced life, do hobbies as well as work together, take care of your family and your profession. And I'm sure women face it more than we do, that they have to balance everything in their house and yet not get affected by the situation or not get overwhelmed. So, how does this heartfulness help? So, what heartfulness does actually, and we'll of course let you experience it, is that when you tap into your inner resources, when you tap into your reserve, we all have a reserve, right? We talk about coronary reserve, we talk of pulmonary reserve, we talk of reserve everywhere, like hepatology everywhere, but nobody talks about your reserve of your resilience, your inner self. So how do we tap into those reserve? Because that's what is actually the real you. So let me just take you back a little bit when a kid is born, and that will explain to you what I'm talking about, and then we'll go into meditation after that. So when a kid is born, he's a pure slate. He's as clean as any human being can be. The moment he's born, the first color on his fabric of life or fabric of consciousness or mind, whatever you call it, is painted by the mother, because that's the first human the kid interacts with. Then it's the father, then it's the brother, then it's the sister, then it's grandmother, grandfather, aunts. So by the time he's 4 or 5, he has lost entire identity of his own, because he has no identity. His identity is completely colored. Is contributed by people who are around him. And that is how we end up leading our life. So when you're in school, then your friends influence your decision, your peers, your teachers, they mold you. So by the time you really are an adult, you have totally lost who you are. And we all have gone through that. It's not that one of us is going to go through that. We all have gone through that because nobody ever in our school has stimulated that who are you? What is your goal? What is your purpose? I'm sure even our vocation was in our time was chosen by our parents. That tu doctor banega, tu doctor banegi, tu ye banega. Everything was decided by someone else. And this is the reason to constant strive. So we forget who we are. So to reach who we are, we have to tap into the heart. When I say heart, don't think it's a physical heart. Heart which beats when you see a problem in the around area, or it's the purest example of a heart is what you feel for your kid. If a kid is crying at night, however tired you are, you're going to get up and take care of him. So that's what the heart behaves. So we have to tap into it and use that resource to tide over this problem. So now the question would arise that all of us have a heart, all of us have a mind. Why are we still not being able to tap into that? Why are we not tapping into it? Because as I told you, since you're born, you are colored completely. So you, whatever experiences we have in life, we accumulate them in our subconscious. Even if you don't realize it, you will accumulate it into your subconscious. So when you walk on the road and you see an individual, you smile sometimes at the individual. And at some individuals, you just ignore and walk away, and some you just frown. Why is that? You have never met that individual before. I mean, what made you decide that A individual deserves to be smiled and the C individual deserves to be frowned upon? This is because that individual represents something you've experienced in your life which you don't remember. So if you like someone looks like your favorite actor, you're going to smile. And someone resembles someone who's robbed someone a few years back, you're not going to like it. Same is the reason we all scared of blacks when we go to New York. We feel that blacks rob people or they mug people. Is that true? Statistics proves that whites mug more than blacks. But yet our mind is conditioned to accept what we have learned. And that is the biggest cause of strife we have, because we have conditioned our mind, we have not cleared our mind of clutter. So whenever we are at work, when we take work or when we work, we are never committed to our work because our mind is constantly leading us into different directions. Is this good for you? Are you doing the right job? Should I be doing this much work for the pay I'm getting? Should I be spending this much time when people don't care for me? All this leads to burnout, because then you start feeling that you are not being taken care of for what you deserve. So this has to be sorted, and I'll give you a fine example before we teach you how to do with it. Now, suppose there's an example I'll give you. There's a student who is preparing for a competitive exam, and after the exam is over, he decides to take internal medicine as a choice. Or in your case, let's say, decides to do physiotherapy. And in the list, he realizes that he's going to miss the seat by just a mark. But he wants to be a physiotherapist or not, that time will tell. And he says, okay, let's wait for 6 months. Maybe I'll get the seat after 6 months and we'll see. So one day, just before the counseling is closing, he reads the notice board that one seat is available in medicine, one is available in surgery, 4, 5 things left. So he feels that his hopes are better now. Why don't he find out whether this seat he can take? So he quickly goes to the clerk and says, am I eligible for this seat? So she tells him, you appear to be second on the list for this seat. If the number one doesn't come up till 5 p.m. in the evening, then you can pay the fees and get the seat. But if the number one on the list turns up before 5 p.m., and then you won't get the seat. So his hopes are quite good because he doesn't see anybody around. And as you know, during our time, there used to be no email sent to you, come to this and all. Everything used to be put on the notice board. If you have not read it, it's over. So around mid-afternoon, he sees number one walking into the corridor. Now he knows that the number one doesn't know that the seat is vacant. And the number one doesn't know that there's a notice board put up. Now, if you were the number two candidate, Manisha, would you tell this person number one seat is available or not? Or would you not tell? Honest
It's a
opinion.
very, very tough question.
But the honest one. I want an honest opinion.
I would not want to tell him, but probably towards the end, I would say, because then the guilt would remain in my mind. So I would say,
But you would not want to say in the first.
no, first go, I wouldn't want to say, but I would rethink, and just push myself and don't force him, but I would at least say that have a look at the notice board.
Okay. Anybody else would do anything different? Anybody else would do anything different? Or all would do what Manisha says? Okay. So this student decides that he's going to not tell. He says, I'll distract him. So he takes him on the side and takes him to the canteen and they keep chatting. And they're not friends, it's just that they talk to each other and he diverts him and
We would
takes
not
him.
like to distract, but we would not tell. We will let it to destiny.
No. What it means is that if he doesn't distract, then the chance is very high that he'll go to the notice board. So anyway, he goes and distracts him and takes him to the canteen and they talk about lots of other things. And as Manisha said, that same problem kept happening with him inside. That and what if I don't tell? The guilt feeling kept recurring. So around 4 p.m. he tells the student कि यार seat available है तो ले ले यार जाके. So the student guy number one is very excited and says good. And they quickly go to the clerk. The clerk says, okay, let me remove your forms because they have to check the forms before you. One more step before that. So he says, okay, whoever wants the seat, come in and you have to pay X amount now. Whichever the fees are, which used to be probably 30,000, 20,000. I don't remember. Probably I don't even know. So now number one doesn't have the money, number two has the money. And they're not friends. Now what would you do? Neeraj sir.
We would like to pay the money.
You would pay the money for the first student.
Yeah.
Why? You first thought that you should not let him know, and now you have a chance of getting back. You don't have to give money. And he doesn't know you have the money.
We would not like to let him know, but we would not tell him that it is there. But because in that case, we will not feel guilty. But if you don't
No, but he's
help
not your friend. You need not tell him that I have the money. How will he know you have the money?
if I have money, I will pay. I will help him. If I don't have money,
then obviously
because
you can't help him.
we have to avoid the guilty complex. That is the thing.
ठीक है, okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else would pay him to the person? One good deed done. You don't have to repeat the deed because now it is his fault that he doesn't carry money. Would you repeat the deed or give the money? Anybody else? No?
Ask them to arrange the money themselves. Probably, you have this much time, try to arrange. And if you cannot, then, should I go ahead with the seat? Probably just ask.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. So this student followed Neeraj and said, "ठीक है, take the money. I don't want to live with this guilt." So he's ready to give the money. Then the lady at the clerk says, "Okay, let me get your forms out." And they remove the forms. The form of number 2 candidate showed your choices. Do you remember the forms you used to fill in college? First choice medicine, second choice surgery. There's a lot of choices around. In the form number 2 was only one choice written, internal medicine. And in the person whose form number 1, number one fellow, first choice was surgery, second choice was medicine. He had 3-4 choices. So the rule of the university says that if you fill a form and your first choice is available, you cannot take you're not allowed to take a second choice. Then you have to take your first choice. You cannot take the second. So eventually, number 1 was forced to take surgery, and number 2 got medicine. Now tell me, what does this story tell you?
Probably because I tried doing a good deed, it just came to me.
Okay. Anybody else?
A strong desire to achieve the seat. He
Whatever
had a
you do,
positive
it will
attitude
come to
basically.
you in return.
Sorry?
Whatever you do, good thing you will do, it will come in return. The nature will return it.
Okay. And that's one was the strong desire. That's what I heard. Okay. So this, to me, was a few things that it taught. That it's never bad to listen to the heart. We get scared of listening to the heart because the first fear would be that I'll lose the seat of my life. And that was the biggest fear that would drive you to not let that person know or not give the money. But if you listen to your heart, he gains, because in the long term, when you listen to your heart, it takes you a circuitous road, but it still brings you to the destination. But had you listened to the brain, you would have got the seat, probably. But you would never be happy that you got the seat by cheating someone. Because somewhere your conscience would keep reminding you your entire life कि ये seat तुम्हारी नहीं थी. That's the first thing the heart shows. And second, what it shows, the people who live with their heart know what they want in life. The form of number 1 had only one choice. तो करूंगा तो मेडिसिन करूंगा, नहीं तो कुछ नहीं करूंगा. Because he had decided that this is his goal. Whereas the guy on the second was planning his goal based on the marks he had received. So he had no clue in life whether he wants to be a surgeon or he wants to be a physician or he wants to be an anesthetist. What does he want to be didn't matter. What his marks gave him, that would give him the field. And that's why, in the long run, if you listen to the heart, you will never go wrong. Of course, it doesn't mean that you will not go through suffering or you will not have problems, which obviously he faced problems for 3 hours. What is 3 hours compared to 6 months you would have waited for this seat? Hardly anything. This is what I took from that example. And the biggest fear people who live with their heart is they're always scared of being run down, they're always scared of being overruled and someone will take advantage of me. Trust me, if you live with your heart, nobody ever takes advantage of you. Because people are scared of being vulnerable. I think vulnerable is the best emotion to have. I'm sure of people listening to me, 18 of us will disagree. what is he talking? But if you are vulnerable in life, if you are willing to show you're vulnerable, you will be a far more successful human being and almost never face burnout. Because when you are vulnerable, when you are open to emotion, you think about others all the time. So you are more compassionate, you are more empathetic, you're more understanding. Once that happens, as Dr. Neeraj said, what you give the universe comes back to you. That's the secret. So that exactly, once you are compassionate, once you're empathetic, your patients will love you to death. There is no question about you worrying about something going wrong with your practice or with your income levels or with your job security. The people whom you touch lives will come back to you and they will bail you out when you ever get into trouble. And that is the secret of heartfulness, that you will never be alone. That is, if you continuously listen to your mind, you are constantly going to be alone because mind cannot tolerate anything else except themselves. So all I'm saying is that mind is not bad. Mind is good, but it should be used sensibly by the heart, not the other way around. So that is my take on heartfulness. So if you are ready, I can take you through that and understand, want to meditate.
Yeah. I just have one question, Dr.
Sure.
Harish Mehta. Since it's the cardiac rehab week and you're the cardiologist and you're a cardiopulmonary therapist, can you give us some advice on how we can apply the concept of heartfulness on our patients?
Okay. So
On the cardiac patients, yeah, proceed.
okay. So now, cardiac health, as you all know, is a combination of parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. As simple as that. Wherever the sympathetic drive is high, the heart is going to take a beating. And wherever the parasympathetic drive is high, the heart is going to be restful. So anything that induces increased heart rate or increased blood pressure is going to lead to more cardiac problems. So that's your increased sympathetic drive. So what heartfulness does by the process of meditation, it tends to calm your mind and it accelerates or accentuates the parasympathetic nervous system. So it acts on the parasympathetic nervous system, and it has been scientifically proved that people who meditate have greater heart rate variability, which you know about. So greater heart rate variability, lower heart rates, lower blood pressure. So all three put together is going to have a beneficial effect on your heart. And it has been clearly proven that meditators versus non-meditators, the blood pressure in meditators is lower, the heart rate is lower. And cholesterol levels are lower in people who meditate compared to people who don't meditate in the same amount of eating habits, and all the other variables are the same. So you have to put it across to them that this is the way it's going to help you. And second is, it is already mandated by ECC-AHA that is the adjuvant therapy in addition to drugs to prolong life in heart failure patients. So you have a scientific basis behind that. That's how you can integrate into your cardiopulmonary. And before we start, this beautiful saying by a saint that you are known by your breath, prana. We all know prana. And when we are born with a fixed amount of breaths. Whether you call it God gives you breath or your evolution gives you breath. So you have fixed number of breaths before you pass away, right? When your breath count is over, then that's end of life. And those who meditate breathe slower than people who don't meditate. So you are going to consume your breaths more economically. If you consume your breaths economically, the life is automatically getting prolonged. And that's the secret of our yogis of the past living long. Right?
Thank you so much. And you can take us through the meditation. Yeah.
Sure. So I would request you all, if your mobiles are on, you'll have to put them on silent mode or go in the airplane mode. And I'm going to give you few commands which you just follow. And as you follow them, so you have to follow those commands as I tell them. And once I tell you, please start meditation, you have to just give a supposition that there is presence of divine light in your heart and close your eyes. Don't worry whether you can see the light, can't see the light. Don't try to see that. It's just a thought that there is divine light in your heart. And once that is done, you close your eyes, you'll have million thoughts in your head, millions. Immediately, you'll have thoughts racing like crazy. So the idea is don't worry about the thoughts. Don't try to push the thoughts away. Don't try to remove them. It doesn't work. Newton's law tells you to each and every action is an equal and opposite reaction. So if you want to push the thoughts away, they want to come back multifold. So all you have to do is remind yourself that I am meditating. I will deal with this thought later and drop the thought. Treat it as non-required person. So the first thought will be replaced by the second, then same process, replaced by the third. Every time remind yourself I'm meditating. I will deal with this thought later. Don't form a chain of thoughts. That's all you have to do. And when I say that's all, gently open your eyes. Don't open your eyes immediately because then you lose what you've gained. And after that, just note down how you felt. That's it. And try to retain that feeling. And once you're experience this, then you can have those 3-day sessions which we can organize and the different aspects of heartfulness that Snail was talking about. You can do that, right? Okay, ready? Gently close your eyes and sit comfortably. Now bring your attention to your toes and wriggle your toes. Feel the energy from Mother Earth go up your feet. This energy relaxes your feet. This energy ascends up your ankles, your legs, relaxing the calf muscles and the shins. And you start feeling light in your legs, the knees, the thighs, the hips, all of them are infused with this healing energy and they're making you feel completely relaxed. Feel yourself sinking into the chair as your lower limbs are now relaxed. This energy ascends up your waist into your abdomen, relaxing all the muscles. Since the muscles in the abdomen are now relaxed, you feel your breathing is getting deeper and slower. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Do this 2-3 times. As the energy ascends up from your back, from the base of your waist, right up to your shoulders, the entire back muscles are now soft and relaxed. Feel the energy entering your chest, relaxing everything on its way. As the chest gets relaxed, your lungs can expand better and making your breathing rhythmic, slow, and deep. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Feel your shoulders simply melting away. The energy descends down your arms into your elbows, forearms, relaxing your wrists, all the muscle. Feel the energy entering your hands, down your fingertips. Energy oozes out, relaxing everything on its way. Bring your attention to your face. Each and every muscle of your face, your chin, your lips, your cheeks, nose, earlobes, eyes, eyelids, eyebrows, and forehead, feeling completely light and relaxed. And there is no fear or worry. As you feel this, scan your entire system, top of your head, to the tips of your toe. If any part of your body is still not relaxed, revisit that part and repeat this relaxation. Now bring your attention, feel the light, divine light emanating from within. Be absorbed in the light and the love emanating from your heart and rest there. Treat the thoughts as unnecessary bystanders and let them be. Do not chase them. Remain absorbed in the love and light in your heart. And please start meditation. That's all. Keep your eyes closed. Make a mental note of what you feel. As and when you're ready, you may gently open your eyes. What do you feel? How did you feel?
Nice.
Yeah, Manish.
Calming.
Neeraj, why?
Already in Kana.
No, I mean, what can happen in a few minutes? You can imagine if it continues for a lifetime. Right? If there's any questions, I can answer them.
Sir, I just wanted to know, most of the times when I'm doing the meditation, I fall asleep.
Hmm.
Right now, I was doing after a certain period of time, I had just
So that's actually what you're feeling is not. I noticed that you were closing your eyes, but that's the process that whether Manish has done artfuls or not. This is thing called pranauti. This is transmission that comes from the source from where we all come from and is channelized into someone who's meditating. And that gets you into this stage which you feel is sleeping. But you're still aware, right, of your surroundings. If you're sleeping and aware of your surroundings, then you're not sleeping. You're in the meditative state. If you're completely unaware of the surroundings, then probably you are not fallen off to sleep. Manisha, you must try it. You've not done it before.
What?
You do the three. You should do the
Yeah.
3 days heartfulness session.
Yes. Yes.
Where there's meditation and there is rejuvenation. That will help you. And I'm talking from personal experience. It does wonders. Changes the way you look at life. Any more questions?
Hmm. Hello.
Any questions?
Yeah,
Anyone?
I want to ask regarding the if any patient of heart failure do the meditation, what is your experience regarding the heart failure variability?
No, the heart rate variability definitely gets better. You get higher heart rate variability, which is proven by Holters. If you attach Holters, we have done in our heartfulness research also. So the heart rate variability goes towards the parasympathetic area. So clearly, it helps. Of course, we need to study it in heart failure patients whether it will lead to less symptoms or less admissions. I mean, that's the area of research we should follow. I'm sure with cardiac rehab, cardiopulmonary rehab, and meditation together with medications, I'm sure that the quality of life and repeat admissions would go down. Because it's all about increasing reserve, right? You all increase reserve by training their heart muscles and lungs. Here you're going to change their spiritual and mental reserve, which is as important as your physical reserve that you change. So that's what burnout is all about. You have the physical reserve, but you don't have the mental reserve. That's why you burn out. You have
Any
to
risk?
amplify your spiritual and mental reserve. That's
Have
why
you
modern boliye sir.
have you gone any research regarding the cortisol levels in heart failure patients
No, we will be
doing meditation?
we are looking at that research, but we have done a research with telomere lengths. If we measure the telomere length on the chromosome, they found that meditators have a longer telomere length, and the longer telomere length correlates with longevity. That already has been done, and we've done ambulatory blood pressures and pulse with patients with heartfulness meditation, and they have clearly reported lower blood pressures and slower pulses. And we've also done a study with sleep, comparing sleep of people with heartfulness meditation and people who don't meditate or do other kinds of meditation. And we found that the delta sleep, which is the deep sleep, occurs in 5 minutes of meditation, which normally occurs 2-3 hours of sleep later. So within 5 minutes of meditation, we reach deep sleep. So all this has been proven. Of course, we still need to prove the cortisol levels and all that. We are working on that research. We're looking at multiple aspects of research right now to show that how sleep changes, how your cellular growth will change, everything will change. MRIs have been proven. If you read mindfulness articles, they clearly show MRI benefits of meditators in the brain. And Alzheimer's, I'm sure your Alzheimer's is going to get less and less if you meditate as a young kid and keep meditating your entire life.
Any more questions?
And after all, it's in the end, it's your experience. You have to experience it to speak about it. Me saying has no meaning because that's my experience. You need to feel it yourself. That's why ours is an experiential method. We believe that try it to know it. The proof of the pudding is in eating it. You have to eat it. Right?
Very true. So thank you so much, Dr. Harish Mehta. In fact, with the life that we have now, professional life, personal life, meeting expectation, being an all-rounder, going everywhere, doing all the things possible, it's so important to somewhere take a break and go in deep into our heart is what I've learned today from this session. And meditation is very easy to say you should be meditating, but it's actually very difficult to practice. The moment you shut your eyes, mind goes on with a lot of things. Like right now, the moment I shut my eyes, is there any participant? Do I have to accept anything? And then later on, you finally brought me to a stage of meditation. And a lot of other things like tapping your heart, going into the reserve, how we explain our patients about going into the pulmonary reserve or cardiac reserve. And, these exercises would help us to improve the reserves. But mindfulness or heartfulness, the programs you conduct, are actually bringing the reserves of our heart along with the other functions. So it was a great session. Thank you so much for conducting this session, and hope we can incorporate these things in our lives as well as the lives of our patient. Thank you, Dr. Snehal, for introducing this entire concept to us and for this collaboration. Spandan Led the Heartbeat would not have been possible if you weren't around. And thank you, Dr. Maria. Your support to the society is always there, and you keep thinking of different ways to increase our reach and incorporating a lot of new things to our programs. Maria ma'am, would you like to say a few words to end the note?
No, I just wanted to say that this is just the beginning, and I agree with Sir that it's a long way to go. This is just a small part of it, and continuous engagement is what is necessary to keep doing it. So probably after understanding this, we would have much more sessions and we'd be open to people who would actually want to form a group and start practicing and taking it further.
And I think the biggest advantage is if you experience it, then only you can tell your patient it works. Till you've not experienced it, your patient won't believe it works.
True.
So on this note, I think, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for introducing.
We'll,
us.
I request everyone to just put on their cameras for a group pic. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Thank you
sir.
so much. We
Thank
look
you.
forward to the session tomorrow at the same time using the same Zoom link. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Snehal.
Thank you.
Thank you. Manisha, I'll leave.
Yeah. Yeah, ma'am. Leave. I'm just ending the meeting. Yeah.